Nazy Javid. I'm a morning news anchor for KRCR in the Chico Redding Market. Mike Moya taking pictures for us, Anna here, and she works at KION in the Salinas Monterey Market. And then we've got Patty back there who is in charge of all things Natus membership, so if you're interested and you want to talk to her. And then we've got my husband in the back. Shout out to Eddie Wilson. He's a good hubby, tagging along and carrying all my stuff today. So here's what the deal is. We don't have that much time. So I'm gonna kind of hustle through what I would do in the morning for makeup. And I'm not gonna have a lot of time to kind of go over everything with you. So if you have questions, shout them out. And again, the QR code is here if you wanna link it. Yes. That's a great question. That's a question that a lot of people ask, right? So when I'm out and about in the community, and I'm gonna be going while we're talking, right? When I'm out and about, people are like, oh, who does your hair and makeup? But I think talent can attest to the fact that most of us do our own makeup, right? I mean, Sue, like, who do you know that has their makeup done, right?
The only people maybe at the network, the big New York,
yeah,
big network level, Good Morning America, that type of show. But,
yeah.
You know, most people do their own.
We do our own. So that's a great question too. Honestly, I kind of learned myself over time. I have been on air since 2005 and worked around a lot of veteran talent who kind of taught me their tricks and tips. It's been that kind of day. Yes, they've taught me a lot of theirs, and I kind of picked up along the way and watched how other anchors did it and develop a skill. I did take stage makeup classes when I studied theater, but it's changed. The way we do makeup now has changed. So I just did a moisturizer because I think that is one of the big things that you need to have a solid base of moisturizer. And
can you use the mirror just
sure, yeah.
There we go. Now we can.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started with moisturizer. Now I'm gonna show you how I do a lot of my makeup on the fly with my hands because we like to carry a lot of brushes and everything, but honestly, like, when you're an MMJ and you're on the go, like, you don't have time you can't carry all this stuff with you. So I'm gonna use as minimum amount of things as I can. So I started with a moisturizer. I always do a sunscreen, right? Because you gotta have, even in the winter, you gotta protect your face and your neck. Don't forget your neck.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Now, you can already see with the lights how hot I'm getting. And I sit under heavy lights all morning long. So I use a lot of like mattifying products, but that have moisture because the older you get, the more moisture you need. So I did a moisturizer, a sunscreen, and now I'm gonna go in with a face primer. Primer is really important to me. It kind of lays the foundation for your makeup to allow it to stay all day. This is a Magic Perfecting Base by L'Oreal. I try to bring a lot of the products that are kind of like your everyday drugstore products so that they're affordable and accessible to everybody.
You can find them.
Is this makeup you do just when you're on air or just like every day?
I don't wear makeup outside of work because my skin is so battered with makeup all week long. My husband can tell you, as soon as I walk in the door, I wash my makeup off. And that is another one of the big tips that I would share with you, that do not ever go to sleep with your makeup on. I know it happens and it's easy to do, but it is horrid on your skin. So if you do have a breakout, right, because you're on air, you need to have a quick solution. Clearasil makes a very good, and it's all linked here on the QR code, makes a very good overnight get rid of a zit quickly fast. That's a good one. This is It CC Cream. Love this stuff. I have it in like several different shades. You can mix and match. It's good for almost all skin types, and it has an SPF 50 in it. It's a full coverage cream, and you can put it on with your hands just like you would a moisturizer. But see how much coverage it gives you just immediately?
Do you do that in addition to your sunscreen?
Yes. I have been seeing a dermatologist when I was younger. I had really bad acne, And I went to a dermatologist who recommended that I start using sunscreen. So I've been doing it since I was 14. And it honestly was one of the best things that I could have done for myself and my skin. Sun protection is so critical, and I think it's easy to forget, especially in places where, you know, it's overcast and it's not super hot every day and you don't feel the sun, but it's there. But being in news, like, you got to invest in your face and you got to invest in your health, and it starts from the inside out. So with eating healthy and making sure you're getting your antioxidants and those leafy greens and drinking a lot of water, like hydrating. It's so easy to be on the run as an MMJ and forget to do all those things, but super critical to have that makeup look from the inside out. If you have a good base to start with, you're already winning. So now I have my moisturizer, sunscreen, whoops, did my makeup there. And now I'm gonna go in with a concealer. So Tarte is a really good one. If you don't wanna spend that much, Wet n Wild Incognito is a good sort of knockoff. Elf also makes a really good one. I'm gonna try to use the most affordable products today, just to show you that you can still look good on a budget. So I have airbrush makeup and I have like higher end makeup for like the promos and stuff that we do if you have questions afterward. But right now I'm just gonna do like super basic, what you would do if you were an MMJ on the go. You don't have all your brushes to contour. So there are ways around it.
You're doing that with that instead of powder. Interesting.
So I have about, so my show starts at 5 to 8 in the morning. So I go up, I come in at 2, write, read, produce, get everything ready for the show. And then right about 4:10, I go upstairs to my dressing room and get my face and clothes on. So see how you can do all this with your hands? Like, you don't have to have all of these, make use of all of these. I'll use some though. With eyeshadow, you kind of have to have a good application with that. But if you're using moisturizing products, you can do a lot with your hands. Tell me if I'm blocking. I just can't see very well. Okay. So now I'm using a MAC paint pod. It is kind of like an eyeshadow base. You can put it on with a brush, like a flat brush, or you can use your hand if you have a brush. You also don't need this, but I have learned over time that primer, foundation primer, and eyeshadow primer really helps keep the makeup stay throughout the day. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to hop in. Anna will keep an eye out for me.
Do this really quickly and super efficiently. Is that because you're really good at this? You do have to do it this fast, or you do it for this purpose right now?
This is how fast I would do it.
You can do it this fast.
Yeah, I mean, I have to for news. And a lot of times we have breaking news, like we had an earthquake not too long ago, and my family was calling me and the public was calling me, and we're trying to field all these calls. I'm calling officials trying to get the information, and I'm like putting my eyelash on with one pinky. And yeah, you just got to make it work. So I do have all of the tools to do it.
It's not just for this purpose. This is always how you do it.
Yeah, I'm usually in a hurry, right? Because for me, the news is what I put a huge focus on, not so much myself. And like the makeup it's changed. So now I'm doing like a white eyeliner on the inner, I'm lining the inner rim of my eye just to kind of open the eye up a little bit. The way we do makeup has changed because of high def. So now you got to pay attention to like all these little things that you didn't before. So line the inner rim of my eye. And now, have you guys heard of Lumify? Do you guys anyone here use Lumify? Okay, it is thebomb.com. It's these little eye drops. They're like makeup eye drops, and they're like 25 bucks. The best $25 investment, because when you're tired and you're working a 2 a.m. morning news shift, takes the red out of your eye. And I cleared it with my eye doctor just to make sure. And in
Put
just a
that on before you start doing the actual eye makeup. She was
Yes.
saying what you were just saying. Oh, my eyes just get so irritated whenever I have like mascara on for a long time or some lash glue. So.
Yeah, I like to put it on before I do the eye makeup because then my eye makeup isn't running. Super helpful.
Might block some of that chemical that kind of might be coming at your eyeball, you know, from mascaras and glues and the stuff that irritates it. Yeah.
Yeah. So now, let's see, what is my time? 11:42. See how quick time goes when you're having fun? All right, so now I'm gonna go in for some eyeshadow. I have a few different eyeshadow palettes. I'm gonna go in with the MAC. This is my travel one, and I use this one a lot, you can see. But it's like the neutral colors. So I think for television, you wanna stay in the neutral palettes, like, because it's not about us, right? It's about the story. And so we don't want to wear makeup that's going to take away from the story that we're telling. If you're paying attention to my pink eyeshadow or my, bright red lipstick, then you're not listening to the content, and it really is not about us. So for eyeshadow, I'm okay with a little shimmer on the lid, for a little pop, just on the lid. You don't want to go shimmer everywhere. And you want it to be a light neutral color that opens your eye. Because if you do a dark color on the lid, you're closing the eye. You want to open the eye. And I'll bring it around. Open that up a little bit. Okay, then I'll go in with a brush, and I carry these brushes just in my little makeup bag with me everywhere I go, these like 5 brushes. So now I'm gonna go, so I did like a light color. Now I'm gonna go in the crease with like a brown color. Just quick. In the mornings, we are rushing. Sue, what is your shift?
5A to 9A.
So when do you do your?
I do mine when I get to work. Actually, I do mine from home, I should say. I do my hair when I get to work.
Nice.
Because my hair is super straight and doesn't follow anything.
I know. I have crazy curly hair and I straighten it, and then it's hard to get the curl back. Okay, so I did a little bit in the crease. Now I'm gonna go in for like a lighter shade, brownish color, just to kind of blend it in. Just blend it in. But again, not too dark because you want it to stay open. The neutral light colors work good for this. Okay. Shadow. Now my eyebrows. I don't know about any of y'all how your eyebrows go, but mine just go wherever they want to go. So I have a brush. This is an Anastasia brush. I'll brush them out a little bit. And I don't have a ton of eyebrows because I did that thing when I was younger where like you overpluck forever and then you never get them back. But so now I have to draw them on. This is where I think a lot of people struggle, the eyebrow area, because it's hard. It's not super easy. But the product that I use, I really, really like. It's the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade. Does anyone here use this? It's so good. It looks like this. And it goes on so smoothly. So what I do though first, so that I don't get crazy brows, I'll go back in with one of the concealers and I will get a little bit on the brush and line the brow, because I want my makeup to last through these melting lights all day and throughout the rest of the day till I get home and it's dinner time. And if I just go in with the eyebrow pomade, it can, when you get hot under the lights, it can melt out. So anything that you're doing, if you frame it in, it kind of gives it a longer lasting effect. It's the same thing with lips. It's like lip liner. but just for your eyebrow. A lip liner does the same thing. Holds your lipstick in throughout the day, extends your wear time. I'll go back in, give myself a little bit at the tip, those parts of your face that are the light's gonna hit, right? A little bit above the lip and your chin. Then I'll go back in under my eye again. Now, eyes, you have to be kind of careful because it depends on what your eye situation is. If you have like pockets under your eyes, like if you have like a lot of sushi or you use a lot of you have a lot of sodium, you can get kind of like a little pocket underneath your eye, and you want to roll that out with like a cold compress. They make like tools that you can roll them out, or you can just do it with a cold compress to get that fluid kind of spread out before you do concealer, because if you do concealer when you have those pockets, the way the light hits you is going to accentuate those, and you don't want to do that. So you can blend with a beauty blender, you can use a brush, or if you're on the go, which most MMJs are, you learn how to do stuff with your hands. I'm an anchor now, but I spent many years as an MMJ in the field, and that's kind of where you learn these little ways to use what you got. Okay, so I want to go in with a flat brush, and I'm just going to kind of brush this out so that it sets. And now I'm creating a more open frame for my eye, because that's where people are looking when they're looking at you on their high def TV, your lips and your eyes. So you don't want to wear anything crazy or do anything crazy to those areas that are going to draw attention to you. I learned that early on. All right. So now that that's going to dry a little bit, I go back in with a shadow. I'm going to use this like pinkish color. Same brush. Blend that out again. All right, it's coming together. So now that this is drying, I'm going to go back in with my eyebrow brush. This is important. You can go on the cheap for certain products. An eyebrow brush is not one of them because you don't want it to go everywhere. So this is it's an $18 brush, but it's very, very good. And this is the Dip Brow Pomade. I'm using Anastasia Brown, and it's a dark brown. So it's kind of like painting your face, right? It's like art. And this is where you got to be careful. So you always want to start underneath your eyebrow. You don't want to go right here in the front. Like, I'm not going to do anything to this area. I'm just going to do strokes like so. Another thing I've learned as I've aged over time is to create a lift. I think when I was new at doing makeup, you want to follow your eyebrow, right? My eyebrow goes down. Well, I'm not trying to make my face look droopier. I'm trying to make it look more lifted. So I'm going to kind of flick it out at the end and not go all the way down. See? And I really like this pomade because it just makes it blend in with your brow. It's not like a pencil where, you know, if you go wrong, if you have it, you could just draw all over your face. It's kind of like blends it with your natural brow. So, and just a little tiny bit of it. Then I'm going to go up here on the outer ends. And normally I wouldn't be doing my makeup under these type of lights, so it wouldn't be as like shiny, like it dries faster. Taking that out. Okay. And then if you need to, you can always go back in and reline with a concealer. Because right now the lights aren't making it, the concealer is not drying because the lights are so hot. Okay. So see how I'm not going in close to the middle of my eyebrows, leaving that alone. Okay. And it's kind of like eyeliner. You're going to want to like make it even, make that even, make that even, and then you end up with crazy brows. So I always tell myself, just stop. Okay, leave it alone. All right, let that dry.
Nazy, you can go long if you want.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. Because what time is it? 11:53. We're going to still show you how to do it quick so you can get your lunch going. So now I'm going to setting powder. Like, I don't know, does anyone use banana powder or like a setting powder for underneath your eye? These are two good ones. Laura Mercier makes a really good translucent powder, and this banana powder is always good to like set underneath your eye, but you're not going to be on the run having access to all this stuff. So I'm not going to use those today. I'm just going to show you the very basics. This is it's called Hello Happy. It's by Benefit. This is shade 5. It comes in all the shades, and it's just a pressed powder that I'm going to set my makeup with. This is about $35, and it is the best powder on the planet. This works good for stuff like when you're on news because you don't want loose powder flying around and sitting on your clothes. Okay, so that's setting it in. Now we're gonna go in to eyeliner. Who wears liquid eyeliner? Who wears pencil eyeliner? What do you guys like? Pencil. I like both also. I always do a liner first. This one is like my favorite eyeliner, and it's only $3. Wet n Wild Mega Liner. And you just go in. And again, you want to lift, because being in this work, it's, you know, you don't want to think about it, but like how you present yourself is part of, you know, it's part of your job. You get an allowance for hair and makeup and wardrobe, and you got to invest in your skills and in yourself. So like I'll go get treatments at the dermatologist, like dermaplaning. Has anyone ever had that done? Dermaplaning, however they pronounce it. So good. Takes off a swath of dead skin cells and gives you a really nice palette for your face makeup. So I'm opening my eye. You see how different it looks now with my eye open? And it looks like a lot, but once I put lashes on, it's all going to blend together. Does anyone here have lashes? Like the ones that you get like installed? Yeah, lash extensions.
I personally don't like to use them because they kind of have like maintenance.
Yes.
And like if you've seen like bad TikTok videos, if you don't take care of that, you can give yourself an eye infection.
Yes.
So I don't use them. I like to use fake lashes, and I'll switch out my fake lashes maybe after a couple of days and buy a new set every couple of weeks.
Yes.
Also just give my face a break. I personally, props to you guys if you love lash extensions, but my preference, I prefer the fake ones.
Yeah. I really like the way they look on people too. I have not done them because, like I said earlier, I really do not like wearing makeup. So when I get home, I like to scrub my face off. And with eyelash extensions, you kind of have to work around that. I like to give it a good exfoliation. There's a product on this list that's a really good exfoliator too. I've done a lot of research and I've spent a lot of time with dermatologists and skincare experts, to kind of get what a good formula is for me as far as like how much to exfoliate, how much cell turnover to do. I do a glycolic acid in the morning with the honey cream, and I do a tretinoin, like retinol at night. And it has done amazing things for my skin. It really has just turned over those dead skin cells and given me a better base to work with on my makeup. I really like that, and I learned that from some other anchors who had been in the business longer than I have, and they shared that with me, and that was a really good piece of advice to invest in skincare. So now while that's drying, you can see I didn't do anything underneath because, again, I'm getting older and I'm trying to bring everything up and not down. And normally, and you obviously make a decision for yourself and you talk to your doctor and your dermatologist. I started Botox, I would say, just before we got married, honey. So like in 2020. And I've done filler to kind of lift. I haven't been in a while, so my face is starting to droop again. But the filler brings this up, so it kind of gets rid of the nasal labial folds, and then the Botox will clear out. Like I wouldn't have these right now if I was staying up on it. But investing in my skincare is important to me, given the job that I have. So now I'll go in with a mascara, and it can be any. Sure.
What you just commented, what you just said about how you can see your forehead now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get when you make these choices to do the injectables or make your appearance that way? Are you getting comments from viewers, or is there something that feeds outside influence to make those decisions, or is it just purely what you're seeing? You just want to look that way.
I just want
Just
to.
curious.
Yeah, it's a great question. Thank you for asking it. Honestly, I don't. I feel like in our line of work, there can be a lot of judgment. Yeah, people have their thoughts and their opinions, and everyone is going to say what they're going to say. But I think you develop a thick skin, and that's not really the leading driver for me anyway, as to what I do with my body and my life. I think for me, I know that I perform better when I feel better. So for me, and that's why I say, like, I'm not giving anybody advice or suggestions. That's what I do for me, and that's what I have enjoyed so far, taking care of my skin and going and seeing a dermatologist. But to each their own. And I think if you have really good skill in the business, I mean, there are people of all shapes, sizes, and with different colors and shapes and skin tones. And I think if you have a good skill, that's what's going to stand out because I'm also an assistant news director, and I came from a news directing job before this. And, we're looking for skill. Obviously your appearance plays a part in it, but I think if you are presenting yourself well and you have a clean, polished appearance, it's the skill that really is important for a news director. What would you say? Maybe Sue, you've been in the business long enough. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean,
It's a hard one.
yeah, that's a really hard one.
Aesthetic question.
It's
really hard to-
It's really, I do nothing with that regard, and that's just my choice. I'm at the age in my point of my career where I don't feel like I want to.
I love
If
that.
I was in my 30s and 40s, it may be a different deal. But when I was in my 30s and 40s, I was primarily on the radio and not really thinking about what I look like on TV. Then I transitioned into television, and obviously a lot of people I have worked with in the past and that I do work with now do a lot to their face. Injectables, even, plastic surgery, and to me, I can tell. And that's just why I don't do it. I have chosen to age gracefully.
That's
That's
right.
my Thank you.
I love that.
That's my choice. I look at my mom, and she's 20 plus years older than me, and she's wrinkly, but she's beautiful, and that's the way I want to age. So and again, it's personal choice.
It's personal choice.
And it's it's hereditary. It's if my skin was different, or I had blemishes, or I had scarring, it would be completely different. So I've just chosen that. And makeup really helps. And I have to say, lighting
Oh,
whatever station you're working at, lighting is your best
everything.
friend.
Lighting is everything.
You know, you can do as much makeup as you want, but if you're poorly lit, it's going to show, and it's
Yeah.
going to show everything. And like you said, the HD shows everything anyway, so they're really good at lighting, at least at my station, really good at lighting. Some lighting is better, some places are better in front of the green screen, or if you're in a flash cam, or it just depends on your surroundings. But yeah, it's I've thought about it. I actually have thought about it. I've checked into the Botox and fillers and Restylane and all that stuff, and the only thing I do, like you do, is I do the Retin-A at night and lots of moisturizers.
Yes.
So
I love that. I love hearing different experiences.
yeah.
Anna, what do you do for your skincare? I'm doing blush now.
I'm super basic. I wash my face, take off my makeup every night.
Good. It's good.
Like you said, Nazy, like to each their own.
Yeah.
My routine is different because we all have different skin types.
Yes.
But like you mentioned about audience, every audience and market you work with is very different.
Yeah.
My last market in Chico Redding was very like strong opinions about
Yeah.
how we looked. In my current market where I work with my colleague, like we don't have a lot of viewer engagement about how every now and then, but not a lot. It also just really depends. But how I've done it is just wash my face morning before I go to work and just really take care of my skin's really prone to acne. So if I start breakouts right away, I start attacking those pimples, blackheads right quick. Like for me, a lot of products that I use are kind of like Korean based because I've seen a lot of results from other people, and like Nazy said, and you know others in the industry have said, like it's kind of sticking to your routine, and that's what kind of helps for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Market of where you are is huge, has a huge influence on how you choose to,
Yeah.
because you're such a visual, what you're doing is such a visual thing.
Yeah.
You want people to react in a positive way, and you're trying to.
It really just like I said, audience engagement is really different from where you work. Like my first market, Eureka, was every now and then, like where I worked with Nazy, every now and then we had a different audience with a different view of how news anchors should look like. Chico Redding, because it's a starter market, a lot of us are in our 20s, so we're also trying to figure out how we look. A lot of viewers would be like, why do you guys look like you're in high school? And I'm like, oh no, we're like 22, 25, and they think we're in high school. So a lot of older people think differently about what anchors should look like. So, but where I work now, like less viewer engagement, but it can get to you. But like Nazy said, thick skin is what you develop in
Yeah.
this business.
Really, it's true.
Williams
And
Monterey.
honestly, I would say that like their comments, I'm doing eyelashes right now, by the way. I'm putting lash glue on. I just clipped the eyelashes to make them shorter because that's very important. So you don't just put on the lash and it's too long for your eye, and then that's how you get that pop-up lash in the inside. But I will say, going back to what Anna was talking about, is the comments from viewers, in my experience, are usually more like content related. Usually it's, I'm blowing the lash off because you don't want to put it on while the glue is wet. Usually if we're reporting on a topic, folks will attribute like that we believe in that, whatever we're reporting, and their feedback will be about that most of the time. I don't even remember the last time I've had a comment about my appearance.
And then hair is a whole different
Oh,
animal.
I will say yes. Yes. Here's a whole nother thing. So now I'm setting the lash on. You let the glue air out a little bit, and then you just press. You don't have to have the special tool. And you let it dry. Go ahead.
When I anchor, I don't want to cut Nazy, but when I anchor, I do wear fake lashes. When I report, I keep it simple. Cause like,
Yeah.
you know, Nazy, like when you MMJ, you're just like,
You don't have
you're
time.
go, go, go. You
Yeah.
don't have time. We do, but it's hard to like, between live shots to like
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah. Right.
You wear lashes every time you anchor.
I do. Yep.
Nazy, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
When you MMJ'd, was there like, how would you do your makeup in between like hits? Or
I did my makeup before I got to work.
Okay.
Because in
you try
MMJ
touching up?
world, I would touch up throughout the day. But again, with long-lasting products, like I didn't have to do much of it. This powder was probably the only touch-up I did. I carry the glue just in case the wind or severe weather blew off a little bit of the lash. but this glue is really good. And again, it's all linked in the QR code. And lipstick and powder were probably the only two touch-ups. So there goes that lash. Looks blue right now, but it's gonna dry clear. I used to use the black eyelash glue, but then if you misplace the lash, the black glue gets, and then it's just not happy. It's not good. No bueno. Okay, so that's drying. What's our time, Anna?
You're at 12:07.
Oh my gosh, okay. So there we go, talking too much. Let's put on the lip and go get lunch. So, lips. That's another one where I feel like the bigger your lips are, the more distraction you are. So I try to wear a neutral lip color. But you can see the bottom of my lip is bigger than the top one. So I try to even those out a little bit. Light liner. And going back to Sue's point about the hair, that was one of the times that I did actually get a viewer comment, because I have super curly hair and I always straighten it for news. And one day we had breaking news. Mendocino was on fire, homes are burning down, multiple fires were going on at the same time, and thousands of acres are burning and pushing people out. And I didn't have time to straighten my hair that day, so I wore it curly on the news. And a viewer emailed and was like, "You're so unprofessional. I can't believe you would wear your hair like that on the news." Never mind that people's homes are burning down. This is a NYX cans. This is like a soft matte lipstick. Great if you're on the go. Yep. This is it. This is the final touch, and then we'll go have some lunch. And this will last through the lunch because it lasts all day long. And it's like a little moisturizing too, so it's not super dry. You don't want that dry mattifying lipstick, because then you'll have those crispy lips peeling off. Total distraction.
Who makes that product?
NYX, and it's only $7. Drugstore. That's it. Boom, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And then I would go put a little wave in my hair, and call it a day. And that's it. See? Thanks. Thank you. All right, who's ready for lunch? I do, if you guys want to scan it. Oh.
Yeah, you just timed out on your
Oh, it's the lion. Yes, let me get it for you. Yeah. Anything else you'd like to add, anyone? Any last questions?
I would like to have,
Yeah.
any recommendation for ankles, for men?
Yes.
Anchor,
Yes.
And kind of,
Yeah.
just put some powder on the face and that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe something else, I don't know.
Oh, that's a very great question. I, being a news director and assistant news director, I've hired a lot of male MMJs, and you absolutely should be wearing makeup too. Powder is a good one, and concealer is something good to have on hand, because if you get that zit, I got to tell you, you have this on, have a little concealer on hand. You can go to Sephora or Ulta. They can color match you, and you just keep this with you. Powder, this is a really good one for male and female. This is a very good solid powder. It's called Hello Happy, and it just eliminates the shine, and it gives you a nice mattifying look without looking super dry, Powder is very important. I think that's where a lot of my MMJs will forget. These lights make you sweaty Betty, right? But yeah, so carry that powder and concealer, and if you need help selecting one, I'm happy to do that.
All right,
Thank you. Yeah. Yes, go ahead. Did you have a question?
I completely forgot.
Oh, no worries.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I'll be here. I'm sure you guys are hungry. Oh, yes, go ahead.
Do you come across many women of color? And
Yes.
recommendations for particular line? I heard you mention a whole different bunch, but sometimes our colors, I don't have as much
Yeah.
colors that you're sharing with us.
Sure, it's a great question. It Cosmetics makes an incredible line for women of color. They have every shade from very, very light to very, very dark, everything in between, and they do based on your like whether you're a neutral or you're a warm or you have blue tones. I mean, they if you go on actually on their website and you do a color match, you can type in the type of skin that you have, and they will give you a suggestion on what your color will be. You can also go into like a Sephora or an Ulta, and they are really good about color matching for you. And shadows also. The neutral, that's why palettes like this are good for everybody, because they kind of have a little bit for everyone. You know, they've got those darker, more warm tones, and then the lighter tones as well. And they give you a little bit of shimmer and a little bit of the matte. So a good neutral palette usually covers all bases, and I have like so many. Like, invest in the neutral palettes. They are the bomb. Yes, go ahead. Sure.
Do you ever play around with like highlighter on camera, or do you think that's gonna be too much?
It's a great question. I actually have some with me. I don't use it for on camera because I'm trying to eliminate the shine. Tarte makes a good little, this is like a travel version, but this is kind of like a highlighter, but it doesn't have a lot of the shimmer in it. So if you use this one, like if I were going to use any, I would use this one because it's very mute.
Is Tarte an online brand only, or is that available?
It's in stores too. It is such a great makeup. But like, I would do it there, and I would do it maybe a little bit here, maybe a little there. But usually not, because I'm trying to eliminate shine. Because like you can see just from sitting under these lights how easy it is to start getting sweaty. And that's why I carry this powder with me everywhere. It's amazing. It's so good.
And then the same with contour, you just use the blush.
Yeah, so we were talking, so I didn't really get to talk my way through that one, but yes, I have bronzer. I have like a whole bronzer palette. I have darker shades. I carry them in liquid and powder, but when I'm on the go and I'm in a hurry, I just use this is a really good one, Anastasia. It's like a blush trio, or like a brown blush, and I'll just do it here, and then I give it a little bit of warmth to the rest of my face, and that's it. I don't do any like major contouring.
Do you find that airbrush is more time, less time? You chose the way you did it?
I'm glad that you brought that up. I actually have my airbrush with me. I love airbrush makeup. This little machine, Tempdo Air, love it. If you can, I didn't use it this way, I didn't use this today because it is kind of expensive and not everybody can afford it. But if you can invest a few $100s in this machine, it's wonderful. It's battery operated, you carry it with you. You can pop in, I don't know if I brought any with me. You can pop in like a blush or a foundation, and then it's so fast, easy peasy. You just spray it on and one and done. So I really do, I'm an advocate of. They make it that way. It's amazing. I have no idea how they do it. But some makeup does get on your hair. And if you have black hair like me, you've got to have tricks for that too. So for example, and for my Asian ladies, sometimes you get gray. So I carry a Root touch-up spray because sometimes between touch-ups you don't have time. The Tresemme, I've used every single one on the market. This brand is the best in my opinion. Sprays the roots, gets rid of that problem temporarily. Also, when I got COVID, I lost my hair and I'm growing it back. It's a lot thinner than it was before. I know it doesn't look like that, but I've been on lots of different vitamins and whatnot. But I found ways to alleviate that too. So this stuff is, I don't even know what it's called, but it's linked in the QR. It's like has little hair fibers in it. And like, see if you have little patches, like right here, I don't have a solid hairline. If you want that like Kim Kardashian hairline, you kind of just spray a little bit of the fibers. And this filled in when I had lots, like I'll show you pictures later. When I had a lot of hair loss from post-COVID, this saved the day on air. I mean, I was mortified. I was crying going to work. You can ask my husband. It was really, really bad. Chunks of my hair were falling out. But hair fibers, if you're thinning, if you're going through menopause, if you get COVID and you lose, or if you just want a more thick looking, if you just have thin hair and you just want a more thick looking hairline, see how that works? You just, it's on my list. Yep. Love this stuff. That's a winner in my book. Anything else? All right, well, thank you guys so much.